Every good story starts with a mistake, but the great ones start with a legend screwing up so badly that God himself sighed. Again? We love heroes, sure, but we worship the ones who fall. The noble knight turned exile, the soldiers turned drunk turned martyr, the chosen one who gets canceled by destiny. It's the oldest emotional scam in fiction. Take someone who was once great and let us watch how they claw their way back towards redemption, or at least dignity. The disgraced hero isn't just a trope, it's a blueprint for human empathy. We don't see ourselves in perfect champions, we see ourselves in the ones who messed up, lost everything, and kept walking anyway. Let's start with the basics. A disgraced hero always begins the same way. At the top, respected, powerful, untouchable. Maybe they're a general, a king, a Jedi, or just the guy everyone in town nods to. Then something goes wrong. It could be betrayal, it could be pride, it could be one catastrophic oops that spirals into a legend. Either way, the story snaps. The public turns, the crown falls, and suddenly our hero's sleeping in a tavern with a bottle of regret. It's not the fall that hooks us, it's what comes next. That long, miserable trudge through shame, doubt, and isolation. That's where the real story lives. Because nothing reveals character like losing everything you thought defined you. There's a simple psychological reason this trope slaps harder than a boss fight at 1 HP. It's redemption we can believe in. Perfection doesn't inspire people, failure does. When we see someone fall from grace, it proves they were human all along. And when they get back up, it reminds us maybe we can too. It's emotional physics. The greater the fall, the bigger the catharsis. And that's why stories like The Last Samurai, Gladiator, and The Witcher hit so deep. They're not about strength, they're about atonement. And atonement is the closest thing fiction has to resurrection. The disgraced hero shows up everywhere, across every game, across every genre. In fantasy, he's the exiled knight, Aragon before the crown. In sci fi, he's the commander who disobeyed orders. Shepard in Mass Effect 2, literally waking up from death. In war, he's the detective who drank his badge. In anime, he's the fallen warrior who keeps fighting anyway. Zuko from Avatar, textbook example. But no matter the world, the ingredients stay the same. Public failure, private guilt, like the world rejects them. They reject themselves. One last chance. The story gives them that shot at a meaning again. It's mythological rehab. To understand why we eat this up, you have to understand shame. Every culture handles disgrace differently, but they all fear it. Ancient Greek tragedies turned shame into art. Epicus clawing his eyes out. Samurai treated it like debt that could only be paid in blood. Christian stories treat it as sin followed by salvation. Modern pop culture, we just rebranded a character arc. The disgraced hero lets us process guilt safely. We can watch someone else hit rock bottom and pretend we're learning from it. It's presence by proxy, cinematic confession. For this trope to work, the disgrace has to hurt. The audience needs to feel the weight of the failure. That's why The Last Jedi's Luke Skywalker works better than people wanted to admit. It shows a man crushed by legacy, trying to hide from his own myth. It's not flattering, but it's honest. When disgrace feels earned, the story transcends cliche. It stops being about plot twists and starts being about forgiveness. The best versions of this trope don't just show up in redemption, they question it. Should the fallen hero get another chance? Do they deserve forgiveness or just understanding? That tension is what makes audiences lean forward. For every masterpiece that nails the fall and redemption arc, there's a studio that speedruns it. The formula looks easier on paper: make a legend, break him, fix him before the credits. But when the fall is just a costume change, it feels like cosplay therapy. Modern blockbusters love the aesthetic of disgrace without the substance. A hero loses his title card for 20 minutes, frowns once, then earns it back with a cool montage. That's not tragedy. It's a coffee break. Real disgrace costs something. It's stained. When stories treat downfall like a marketing beat, instead of a moral wound, audiences feel it. You can't sell humility in 4K unless the character bleeds a little for it. Redemption's arc failed when they confused apology with transformation. Saying, I'm sorry, isn't the same as changing. The audiences know the difference. Look at Game of Thrones, Jamie Lannister. Years of growth, compassion, and hard-won humanity, all thrown away in the finale because the plot needed drama. The disgrace returned, but the meaning didn't. Or Fantastic Beasts Grindelwald, a manipulative war criminal who gets forgiven by the camera because Warner Bros. Needed a sequel. The moment redemption becomes convenient, it stops being redemption. True grace takes time. Fake grace takes marketing. Today's media landscape has turned the disgraced hero into a franchise tool. They call it a recall. You take a beloved icon, Age him up, make him bitter, then reboot him for Gen Z. Luke Skywalker, Logan, Kratos. It's become their midlife crisis of storytelling. Sometimes it works. Logan gives morality, vulnerability, and finality. It turned the superhero into a dying gunslinger, and people felt it. But when studios copy that mood without the meaning, you end up with endless grizzle. Men scowling in dust because executives think trauma equals gravitas. The audience isn't tired of flawed heroes. They're tired of manufactured misery. Video games adore this trope because they feel they can make you feel the fall. In Red Dead Redemption 2, Arthur Morgan's disgrace is the entire point. Every mission a small apology carved into the frontier. You don't just watch him seek redemption. You play it, one act of kindness at a time. It's penance you can hold a controller for. Compared to the Anthems or Destiny's recycled fallen saviors storylines, all talk, no ache. The writing says disgrace. The gameplay says power fantasy. You can't claim humility while dual wielding rocket launchers and emoting on corpses. Players can tell when a narrative asks for guilt but rewards ego. We keep resurrecting this trope because Disgrace is the most human story out there. Everyone fails. Not everyone gets a second act. Watching someone earn one scratches a primal itch for hope. The fall satisfies our cynicism. The climb redeems our faith. It's myth and therapy in the same breath. Even the failures prove its strength. When a redemption arc bombs, it still makes us ask, would I deserve forgiveness if I saw the world? Would I deserve forgiveness if the world saw me at my worst moment? That question alone keeps the trope immortal. The disgraced hero isn't just fiction anymore. He's every public figure who messes up online. We watch influencers, athletes, and actors cycle through the same script. Greatness, scandal, apology video, comeback tour. It's Shakespeare rewritten by PR teams. Audiences don't just want justice. They want narrative closure. We crave the satisfaction of seeing someone rebuild because it makes failure feel survivable. Even in real life, redemption sells. The trope collapses when the story refuses to let the hero stay changed. If the lesson doesn't scar them, it doesn't matter. Forgiveness without memory is just repetition. That's why the Mandalorian's Din Djarin works. He never forgets the weight of his choices. But Thor Love and Thunder forgets everything Ragnarok taught him within minutes. Hollywood loves the illusion of growth. Audiences crave permanence. The difference between grace and reset is honesty. Every fallen hero shares one quiet moment before the final act. The look in their eyes when they realize they can't undo what's been done. That's where the magic happens. Not in victory, not in forgiveness, in acceptance. Redemption doesn't erase the past. It reframes it. The disgrace becomes proof that they lived. That's why we keep writing these stories. Because deep down, we all hope that our lowest moment isn't the end of our story. Soft wind over an abandoned battlefield, armor lies cracked in the mud, figure kneels, cleaning the same sword that once betrayed everything he stood for. He was the hero, then he wasn't. Now he's something similar, smaller, quieter, maybe truer. The world doesn't remember his victories, only his mistakes. But maybe that's enough, because in the end, the disgraced hero doesn't rise for applause. He rises because the ground is too cold to die on. That's why this trope works. It's not about glory returning. It's about learning to move again after the music stops.